Spider-Man just did what many people thought was impossible. Spider-Man, Brand New Day didn't just become another Marvel hit. It rewrote the record books. The film reportedly earned an astonishing $360 million at the domestic box office and $932 million worldwide during its opening weekend, surpassing the previous domestic opening weekend record set by Avengers Endgame. That is a statement not only about Spider-Man's popularity, but also about the future of the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. And now, before audiences have even had time to process this incredible success, Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige has already confirmed that Spider-Man 5 is in active planning. Could this become the greatest Spider-Man era ever? Before we break everything down, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss the biggest entertainment news, movie analysis, and Hollywood updates. Let's get into it. Marvel desperately needed a victory. For the last several years, fans have debated whether superhero fatigue was becoming real. Several comic book films struggled commercially, while others divided audiences. But Spider-Man has once again proven that the character remains one of the safest and strongest brands in all of entertainment. According to multiple reports, Spider-Man, Brand New Day opened with approximately $360 million domestically and $932 million globally, becoming one of the biggest opening weekends in movie history, and setting a new domestic opening weekend record ahead of Avengers Endgame. That's remarkable. When a film reaches nearly $1 billion before its first full week is over, it changes the conversation inside every Hollywood boardroom. Instead of asking whether audiences still want superhero movies, studios begin asking how quickly they can make the next one. That appears to be exactly what's happening here. Kevin Feige has confirmed that Marvel is already looking ahead to Spider-Man 5. That shouldn't surprise anyone. Studios don't wait until the end of a successful theatrical run before discussing sequels. Planning often begins months or even years in advance. But after Brand New Day exceeded expectations on such a massive scale, those conversations likely became much easier. Marvel now has overwhelming evidence that audiences are still deeply invested in Tom Holland's Peter Parker. One reason this film connected so strongly is because it didn't simply rely on nostalgia. Following the emotional ending of Spider-Man, No Way Home, Peter Parker entered an entirely new chapter. The world had forgotten him. His closest friends no longer remembered their shared history. Instead of repeating old formulas, Brand New Day pushed Peter into unfamiliar emotional territory while introducing new threats and new challenges. That fresh direction appears to have resonated with audiences around the world. Another major factor behind the film's success is director Destin Daniel Cretton. Known for balancing action with character-driven storytelling, Cretton brought a different emotional rhythm to Spider-Man's latest adventure. Producer Amy Pascal has reportedly expressed hope that he returns for Spider-Man 5. When asked about directing another installment, his response was refreshingly simple. Sure, while that's obviously not an official contract, it's certainly an encouraging sign that everyone involved appears interested in continuing the collaboration. The relationship between Sony Pictures and Marvel Studios also deserves attention. Spider-Man occupies a unique place in Hollywood. Unlike most Marvel heroes, Spider-Man is owned by Sony, while Marvel Studios helps creatively produce the films. Over the past decade, this partnership has delivered enormous financial success. Homecoming, Far From Home, No Way Home, now Brand New Day. Each film has strengthened the partnership rather than weakened it. Reports indicate both companies continue approaching future Spider-Man films on a picture-by-picture basis, allowing flexibility while keeping one of cinema's biggest franchises moving forward. One interesting detail is that the cast isn't rushing immediately into another production. After months of global premieres, interviews, fan events, and non-stop promotion, the stars are expected to take a well-earned break. That makes perfect sense. Large franchise films demand exhausting schedules. Giving actors time to recharge often results in stronger performances later. Rather than rushing Spider-Man 5 into production, Marvel appears willing to let the creative process develop naturally. Now here's my opinion. Marvel should avoid making Spider-Man 5 simply because the numbers are huge. Yes, nearly $1 billion in one weekend creates enormous pressure. But that's exactly why patience becomes important. One reason audiences embrace Brand New Day is that it felt like a genuine new beginning rather than another sequel made only to satisfy release calendars. Marvel shouldn't lose that philosophy. Quality built this momentum. Quality is what will sustain it. Another lesson from this opening weekend is that audiences still reward strong storytelling. For years, critics have argued that superhero movies were becoming repetitive, but Spider-Man demonstrates that viewers aren't rejecting superheroes. They're rejecting mediocrity. When fans believe the story matters, when they care about the characters, when emotional stakes accompany spectacular action, they still show up in enormous numbers. Spider-Man proved that once again. This also creates fascinating possibilities for the wider Marvel Cinematic Universe. Spider-Man remains one of Marvel's biggest crossover characters. With Avengers, Doomsday on the horizon, Peter Parker's future becomes even more important. Marvel now has tremendous flexibility. They can continue telling grounded New York stories, or they can gradually expand Peter's role into larger Avengers-level conflicts. Either direction now looks commercially safe after this incredible opening weekend. Tom Holland also deserves significant credit. Franchise longevity is rare. Maintaining audience enthusiasm across multiple films is even rarer. Yet Holland continues attracting longtime comic readers, casual moviegoers, and younger audiences discovering Spider-Man for the first time. That's not easy. Very few actors successfully define an iconic character across nearly a decade. Holland has managed exactly that. Zendaya also remains an essential piece of the franchise. Even though Peter and MJ's relationship changed dramatically after No Way Home, audiences continue investing emotionally in both characters. That emotional foundation gives future installments plenty of storytelling opportunities, without simply repeating old romance arcs. Financially, Spider-Man 5 now feels almost inevitable. When studios witness numbers approaching $1 billion in a single weekend, sequels become less about possibility and more about scheduling. The biggest questions are no longer whether Spider-Man 5 will happen. They're about when it will arrive, who will direct, how Marvel evolves Peter Parker's story, and how it connects to the next era of the MCU. One final thought. Success can become dangerous. Expectations are now higher than ever. Spider-Man 5 won't simply be judged against previous Spider-Man movies. It will be judged against one of the biggest opening weekends in Hollywood history. That raises the bar considerably. Marvel now faces a welcome but extremely difficult challenge. Can they surprise audiences again? If recent history is any indication, fans will be watching very closely. As always, these are my thoughts. Do you think Marvel should bring back Destin Daniel Cretton for Spider-Man 5? What storyline would you like to see next? Should Peter Parker remain a street-level hero? Or is it finally time for another massive Avengers crossover? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this analysis, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the latest Marvel news, box office updates, and Hollywood analysis. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.